Okay, so we're here looking for seeds with Belinda because remember she's helping me and helping you. She's the Square Foot Gardening Pro. And I think the number one question people have is, can you buy cheap seeds? Like, these are some that I found at the dollar store, 4 for $1. Here's some name brand Berkeley ones. Here we are at the local grocery store with their brand. How do you know? Does it matter?
Yeah. Well, you're going to be safe if you stick with the name brand, a brand that you know. And there is a difference in quality in the seeds. And we've also compared some of these. And we found that the dollar store packet has less than half the amount of seeds in weight as the Lily Miller, which is a better known brand. So you are going to get less seeds as well in a less expensive packet.
So just because they're the same size packet doesn't mean there's the same amount of seeds inside. This is just like any good shopping person. You want to compare weights with prices.
And quality is really important with seeds because you're going to be investing a lot of time and care into your garden. And you have a lot of expectation. So you don't want to use a low quality seed and then put all that investment into it when you may not get the results that you're hoping. Besides that, with the better quality seed, you're also going to have a better harvest. You're going to have more seeds that will germinate and will come out.
So this may be one of those big mistakes maybe you've been making. I know for a long time I would get like one zucchini and I'd think, how am I getting one zucchini? That's like the one thing that should be going crazy. But maybe I was using the too cheap of seeds.
Low quality possible. There really is a difference.
Okay, so Belinda, you said there are different cold weather and warm weather crops. Right now it's March, so how do I know which ones I should be planting in my garden right now?
Okay, well first of all, I really recommend the book. My book is pretty battered because I've used it, got water on it. I really refer to it a lot. I don't as much anymore, but the first couple of years I did. But in the book, he gives it a really great glossary of all the popular vegetables. And he tells you if it's a cool weather crop or a warm weather. And also tells you how many of that crop to plant per 12-inch square. So this is really, really helpful. I really recommend this. And then also he's got some great charts in the back for planting, for germination, for your outdoor planting schedule for spring and summer crops, for continuous harvest of crops. And an example of that would be green beans. We can plant green beans every 2 weeks in the summer.
Oh, wow.
So you have a continuous harvest.
And that's part of the crop rotation with Square Foot Garden.
Yes. We have, what we do is have an automatic crop rotation with our Square Foot Gardening. And that's according to the season. So let's talk about what the cool weather crops are and what the warm weather crops are. And if you know that, it's simple. It's just simple. Which ones? And like I said, the book tells you. Well, onions, we can plant, it's March, we can plant onions, we can plant spinach, we can plant our carrots now, cabbage, broccoli, Brussels sprouts. I experimented with Brussels sprouts one time, and that is one big bush.
Really?
Yeah.
I love Brussels sprouts.
Yeah, it's one big bush. It's very big.
What about
peas? That's the most popular. There's lots of different varieties. The sugar pod that you eat the whole pod, or the bush peas that you open and get all those wonderful peas out. Just great to eat right off the vine. So yes, our peas.
What about beets?
We can plant beets. We can plant parsley, cilantro.
Oh yeah,
Love has cilantro.
Cilantro, that's what I need.
They're usually in alphabetical order.
Oh, that is actually good to know.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. Yeah.
This is why we're bringing you to the grocery store with us.
And also all your lettuces. This was something that really got me excited with Square Foot Gardening because I started trying all these different varieties of lettuces, growing them. And there's so many different types. And your iceberg, your head lettuce, but all the different leaf lettuces, the bib lettuces. I mean, they're sweet, they're delicious. And so this is the time now during the spring where you can plant those and you can harvest them probably, I've got some spinach now that I'm harvesting because I planted it back in the fall, but you can get those harvested probably end of May, 1st of June.
Wow.
Okay, so after Mother's Day, we can start planting our favorites, our tomatoes,
Yes,
our zucchini, any kind of squashes, because all of these need the warm weather. And we can plant our melons, watermelons, cantaloupes, honeydews.
And remember, those can grow vertically.
Yes, they'll grow vertically. We can also plant our favorite beans. There's some great varieties of beans, yellow, purple. They're beautiful. Eggplants. We can plant our cucumbers. And there's so many different varieties of cucumbers. There's the lemon cucumber, the English cucumber. They're just wonderful different varieties.
What about corn? Can you do corn in this corporate garden?
Yes, corn is for the summertime.
So you know we're doing a video on it.
And so, one thing about corn is you'll want to plant your entire box in corn. Say you're 4x4, all in corn, because the corn has to germinate itself.
Okay, so which ones are best for kids? So we're interested in getting our whole families going, and especially the kids, if they have a kid box or want to get involved. What are good kid seeds to do?
Well, carrots are a really good one because they like a lot of water, and you know the kids are going to be watering the garden a lot. And you can plant a lot of those, 16 per square, so each square of carrots. And notice I've got the little finger variety, so we use the smaller variety of carrots.
Oh, so it's just little kid size.
Especially if you're doing the 6-inch boxes. Just get the smaller variety. Then of course, the kids always want to grow their own pumpkin. And this is a vining plant. And we would actually use 2 squares per pumpkin. And this you can grow up on your vertical trellis. And let them hang there as they grow. It's really can be spectacular, the vertical growing.
Okay.
Then, I always like to grow the cherry tomatoes for the kids. Now, the tomatoes, you're going to need to buy a start at your garden center that's already growing. Because tomatoes have to be started like, I've got some started now in my house. You can start them indoors. But if you haven't done that and it's already May, then buy your start. Look at this wonderful rainbow chart. So colorful and very easy to grow. Then you've got your flowers. Marigolds are easy to grow, and they have a way of, I think their smell has a way of repelling insects. And then your radish is a good one for the kids because it'll come up in just a few days. So this is a real quick one to germinate, so the kids can see some success fast.
Which other ones are better to buy as a start versus the seed? Especially if you're kind of you're starting now, so you're kind of behind the 8 ball and starting your actual plants indoors.
Right. Okay, that's a really good question, and that's something that I get a lot from people. You can actually buy the pumpkin plant. Okay. Now, I think you'll have time to plant from seed. If you are a very first-time gardener, you may have more success buying the actual plant than the seeds. The seeds will take more care, like the watering daily, that type of thing.
What about things like melons? I know melons is a big one, and cantaloupes, watermelons, those can come as starts, but is it better or worse? Because I know here in Utah it seems like you're kind of running out of the warmth that sweetens up your melons when you do it by seed. Have you found that?
Right. Yeah, that is a good point. And the watermelons do take a lot of water. Get water on them constantly, as well as your cucumbers. But like I said, if you're a first-time gardener, you might want to go with more starts rather than seeds. But the melons and watermelons will be fine with seeds as well.
What about your peppers? Your jalapenos, your bell peppers?
Your peppers, you do need to buy the actual plant. You need to start on the peppers. So those take quite a bit of time indoors to actually start them with seeds. So you'll need to buy those as plants.
Okay, now what is good, what's good kind of for vertical growing? Because I know there are different types of beans, there's bush beans and pole beans. What's the difference there?
Right. Well, if you've got the means to do the vertical growing on your box, then you're going to be fine with your pole beans, okay? Because you'll have a way to support those. Your bush beans, they'll be fine just in your 12-inch square. You're just going to make a nice little bush. And so you've got two different options depending on what you have in your garden.
So what are other good vegetables for the vertical growing on our net?
Okay, our cantaloupes will do great as they grow.
And they won't be too heavy like watermelons? They can get pretty big. It's not too heavy?
No. No, the nylon netting is really strong and it will hold. Also, your cucumbers. Your cucumbers are perfect for that vertical growing. Okay, tomato is another vegetable or fruit that you can grow vertically. And actually, tomatoes need a good support. You've all heard of tomato cages. Well, our vertical support with the nylon netting is actually much more convenient, and I just really like the way it supports our tomatoes.
Keep checking back because Belinda with HomeGardensToGo.com, the square foot gardening expert, will actually be here longer than just this week of square foot gardening classes, but she will be here every week telling us more about gardening and taking us through the entire process all summer long, because you want us to be successful, right?
I do, and I really appreciate you involving me because I'm really excited to help everybody.
So make sure you check out her website, HomeGardensToGo.com. Remember, she has the boxes, the dirt, the weed cloth. She delivers to more than just Utah. But if you do live in Utah, she will actually come and set it up for you and bring the dirt. So, for more tips and tricks for using food storage every day, visit www.everydayfoodstorage.net and HomeGardensToGo.com.